I'm very excited to talk about Day Shift. It was really quite the ride from start to finish. What about it really caught your attention to want to be a part of it?
Vampires, Jamie, Snoop, JJ, 90s kid, action, kicking ass. That's all I've got right now, but there's more.
I'd say it's a good list right there. So since you mentioned the 90s kid era and the vampires, I mean, when I spoke with JJ, he had mentioned how some of his inspirations were like Evil Dead and Fright Night. So did you have any inspirations for yourself going into this film when you were making it?
I love the genre so much, and it's been bucket list for me. And of course, like for me, The Lost Boys and Blade and Interview with the Vampire, like all those movies I have like on my complete wish list and I've seen a million times. And I think by the time, I think me and Kirsten Dunst are like a year apart possibly, but I was like, oh, I want to be this character, And then I think after seeing Blade, I was like that. I love to see, like a person of color, like kicking ass in this space. And so, everything about this was just exciting to me, and knowing JJ's background and then getting to meet him and seeing what a lovely just spirit he is, and then I've known Jamie for years, and to be on set with him, and he's just such a fun light that just wants to make sure that everyone is having a great time and a great experience and a great moment and a great day. I've known Snoop for years as well, and just like a genuine spirit, and everything about this just was like something that I wanted to be a part of. And then with Jocelyn, it was like, I love that she's a mother, but like she'll kick your ass. And like she's not like playing these games, but she's also very nurturing without being, bitchy, and like just finding kind of the nuances in her, and the things that I respect about her as a character. And so, yeah, everything about it was like, let's go.
So since you mentioned that, that actually was going to be my next question, was what was it like working with JJ and the writers to really help elevate Jocelyn past this, stereotypical rail of a single mom?
Yeah, I think that's what I really connected to, is because on the page, she wasn't written as a damsel in distress. She wasn't written as like overly tough, and like, her femininity wasn't lost, and her ability to really feel and to be afraid and to make a courageous decision, like those things weren't lost. They were on the page. And so just figuring out for me, the balance of like showing that she's a wife that still clearly loves her husband. She just doesn't trust him, and she doesn't understand why she feels like he's been dishonest for this long. Her being a nurturing mother, but also still being strong enough to say, no, this is not acceptable. And if it's going to be like this, and I'm going to make different choices that are going to be best for her, and then I think, as the movie goes on, you just start to see who she is and how she's really, really down for the cause and will have her family's back at all cost. She just needs to be included and know what's going on, And so, the character was there. It was just really about, as you said, elevating it once we got there, and being like really concise about how does she feel about this, and what would be her reaction, and is this realistic, or now could it be, And so all of that was really fun to kind of figure out.
Well, I think it came across very well on screen, so I applaud you all. So I know that you mentioned you've known Jamie for years, but I'm curious what it was like developing that specific rapport with him, as well as with the actress that plays your daughter for this film.
Yeah, it's interesting because with Jamie, he's an endearing person in general. He is like a lover who always is like looking out for people. He's the first person to like sit down and listen to a problem and to like try to help you kind of like figure it out, or give you advice, or just kind of like love on you and try to remind you like who you are and that you're good. So that, I think that dynamic in our relationship as friends was already there, and then figuring out, okay, well, this married couple, obviously they love each other very much, but they've been separated for some time. So where does their relationship lie now, and where could their relationship potentially go? And so just those things we just kind of figured out, in those moments, and played with it a little bit. And then with Zion, not being a mother myself, but having nephews and wanting to be a mother someday, the biggest thing for me was to get to know her as a little being, and to see how she felt about things, and to encourage her, to like, play with her character, and let's have fun together. And let's figure out these things that like only we do, that we know. And yeah, it was fun to spend time with her, and really everybody, like everyone from Dave to Carla to Natasha. It was really a phenomenal cast of like truly genuine, humble, kind, funny human beings that were just all willing to come together and create and have fun doing it.
JJ really did find a perfect ensemble for this film. I couldn't agree more. And so with that said, I know that your part in the action of the film doesn't come until later on in it. So how involved were you in the actual stunts and coordination of that for your character?
I'm like, I will do anything and everything that I can, and try to do what I maybe can't, but maybe might be able to. So I definitely, like, falling down the stairs, I was like, okay, once the stunt actress got, halfway down, I was like, okay, I can take it from here. They're like, you don't want to just like fall from one stair into position. I was like, no, I want to fall down like 4 or 5 stairs. I want to tumble. And they were like, okay, and so they let me put on all the things. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't tell them this, but it hurt. And but it was fun to do it a few times, and to make sure that everything was cohesive, because there was both of us doing everything that we could do. And so I love the stunts part of it. I have no problem with getting, a little bruise or something. I'm like, bring it on. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's great. And I look forward to doing more of it.
So in addition to the awesome action that comes from this film, especially when you have JJ and Chad Stahelski behind it, I'm curious, I love the vampire look, and how it feels like it blends both prosthetics and computer effects. And so I'm curious, what was that like on set, seeing these different designs for the vampires?
Well, poor Carla, she had to be in makeup for so long. Like, a lot of that they actually did. Like, I mean, they were phenomenal putting that together. And then of course they put the finishing touches together on screen. But just to see like what he came up with, it's still true to what we know and what we love and what we've seen, but it's also a complete breath of fresh air because of what he's allowed it to grow into, and how he changed these things like aesthetically, and also just like the physicality and like the things that they can do. And I mean, he just kind of created something that doesn't shy away from what we know and expect, but also just gives us something completely different that we didn't anticipate and we still love, so.
What was your first reaction to seeing the final product, whether it was in footage or on set of their designs?
I saw a lot of it on set, but to see it, like, the first copy that I watched, the first screener, I was like, oh, wow. Oh, this is dope. Like, and also, I wasn't there when all of the people who do like the acrobatics and like just the different stunt people who could do different things with their body that nobody can do unless you can do it. That was cool to watch, how they stretched themselves and how they figured out what this is going to look like, and how they made it very specific to each vampire, and what type of vampire you were, and all of that. So I think that was JJ's idea. It was like, how do I bring something different, fresh and new? And he knew what he was going to do out the gate. And so he brought all these incredible, talented people in that can show off their talents that are unique. So.
Well, they did a great job at scaring me away from vampires.
Yay! Sorry, that's so sad, but yay!
Oh, I mean, that's exactly what you want to clap for a film like this. Exactly. And then I love the world building in this film. I mean, I feel like there's so many different directions it could go. And I've talked with Dave and Jamie, and they mentioned that they've discussed ideas for possible future installments. And so I'm curious, what are your thoughts on possibly, expanding this out?
I can't speak of such things. But what I would say is if it was to happen, that would be fucking amazing.
I do think Netflix could use a franchise like Day Shift.
Well, I'm just here, just looking around the room.
What would you want from a sequel for Jocelyn?
Um, for the family to, kick some ass together, and I would love for Jocelyn to do more action and to have her own unique way of doing things that are unique to her being a woman and being a mother. And I think that, again, like when we approach a character, it's so specific to our life experience and what's important to us and what we've been through, and our way, right down to the physicality of like how we present ourselves and approach something. So I would like to see more of what hers looks like. And have all the chicks out there like, yeah, you can be a mom, you can be badass and not be playing these games.
That would be pretty inspiring and badass at the same time. I love it. How are you feeling coming up to the release later this week? Have you heard internal reactions from screenings and whatnot?
Yeah, and it's been pretty phenomenal. Everything that I've heard so far, everyone seems to really love it. And yeah, I'm just really excited to like share it. It was something that I feel very a lot of gratitude to be a part of, because this is a genre that I love so much and something that I've always wanted to do. And to be able to, I finished this movie a few weeks before my 40th birthday. And so for me, it was like a milestone of like, yeah, man, you hit 40 and you're kicking ass, and like working with Jamie and doing like an incredible movie for Netflix and working with like one of the best stuntmen in the industry and like all these things. And so, yeah, I just feel very, very fortunate.
Well, I'm very glad that you got to have that experience, and I am hopeful to see more of Jocelyn and everybody in the future. Before we go, we also do have you coming up in Shazam again, which we finally got to see the trailer for. What was that like for people finally getting to see the footage of the film for you?
It's exciting. It's exciting. I mean, we did the first one, and that was in 2018 it came out. So we're like, when are we doing that second one? The kids are going to grow up. Like, what's happening? And to come back and to be a much bigger part of this one. And, for my character to now be 12 and to really get to explore Darla has been a lot of fun. And then also just to have more fun with the action stuff. And being dropped out of the sky was not my favorite thing, but but I did it. And it's just been, I mean, our suits are like our updated suits, updated hair, updated everything. It's really cool. And I look forward to people getting a chance to see the Shazamly like this, because you really get to see our personalities in this one. And you really get to see like what makes each one of us tick and why it's so important that we're a unit. So.
Well, I love the first one. It's still, I think, my second favorut of the DCEU, right behind Guns, Suicide Squad. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I am also curious, though, about it. What was it like working alongside Grace, getting to take over as the adult or superhero Mary in comparison to the first one?
Well, I love both Grace and Michelle. But it was fun because it's weird because Grace is both in real life, I call her my little sister, but in Shazam, she's my big sister. I think she just turned 26 or 27 and I just turned 40. And so on set, it was like, this is my big sister. And everyone's like, and I think she was like, this is so weird, but she's wonderful and such a sweet spirit. And we had a lot of fun, and just, we're just like two big kids in superhero costumes. We're the only two girls with a bunch of boys, and we just like to sing Wilson Phillips, and that's it. So.
Well, I can't wait to see you two unite on screen later this year, and I can't wait to spread the word about Day Shift. So thank you, Meagan, so much for taking the time to chat. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.